Greetings, friends and future friends. This video I call Studio Shop Videos. Now, if you're like me, and you don't have a lot of money to pay somebody to come in and fix and repair things in your studio, you got to do it yourself. So I'm going to show you how you can fix and repair and adjust things in your studio. That way you can get back to work creating, whether it be videos or music or whatever you're a creator of. So let's go see if we can find something to fix. Today we're going to take the drums and we're going to clean them, and we're also going to make a repair. We have a little repair. One of the mounts up on top is a little loose, and we're going to get to that. But as cleaning goes, the first thing I like to do is use my Swiffer 3D. I call it 3D or 360. And I really like this Swiffer 360 because what it does is the mounting piece where this slides on, the handle, is really narrow, so you can get between all the little crevices inside the drums. And I'll show you how that works. Now, I'm using two products that I'm telling you to check out before you use. For all my rubber parts on the drums, I use this stuff right here. And basically what it is a tire foam. And it really works on the rubber parts of my cymbals. Now, again, I don't recommend you using it unless you test it on your system first. But I've had good luck with this stuff for years, and it really brings back the rubber parts of those cymbals. Then also, I'm using car care stuff. And this is the Meguiar stuff for plastic. It has kind of a natural finish, natural shine. And I use this for the plastic. Again, I don't recommend you using it unless you've tested it. It works good for me, but before you use it, make sure it's working good for you. I'm not saying you use this stuff, but I'm just telling you that I've been using it and it works really great for plastics. So before we clean the drums, I want to make a repair. I want to replace this bracket right here. It just gets loose sometimes and it's hard to tighten up. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace this. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull the drum off. And get that and make sure we unplug it and set it out of the way. Then what we're going to do is we're going to loosen this back area, this back brace, loosen that, and we'll pull the drum mount out, place that to the side. And then what we want to do on these brackets right here, you need to get this nut out. So what you need to do is loosen it up a little bit and then push. And then that nut will come right out. Then what we're going to do is save that nut. Take this arm over here. And do the same with this one over here. We'll loosen it up a little bit. And push down. That releases that nut from there in that little area where it pulls up in and tightens down. So now we have the bracket ready to come off. And as you can see, I have it on one of my center beams going across the drum set. And it's mounted on one side over here and the other side. And then I have my lights mounted on each side. So there'd be a lot of work to release this beam and pull it out and then slide this off. But I found out a little secret over the years that sometimes this plastic, you can move it. So what we do is we take a screwdriver, put it in there, as far as we can go, and another screwdriver over here, make sure it's in there, and we can actually pull this apart and slide it. Oh, but the bottom screwdriver came loose. Get it up in there a little more and slide it right off. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Now we remove this bracket. Now we're ready to put the new one on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this new piece on. And it's really cool. The newer pieces are great because what you do is you unscrew this. So we take this and we unscrew it. And when we unscrew it, you can see that the bottom of this is hinged. And see how it's hinged? How it works, like you can hinge it and work it. So what that means is now we don't have to remove that beam or anything. What we can do is go up to the beam, put this on there, clamp it up, and we're ready to go. The other cool thing about this is it also adjusts the inside here. So now we don't have to have two adjustments to hold that drum mount in. When you tighten this down here, this wing nut down, it's also going to pull in here and tighten that drum mount down. These are really great. There are some fancier ones out there, but I like these guys. They're pretty good. Okay, let's put our mount on here and get our drum all mounted up. So we're going to come over here and we're going to put our bracket over top, line it up into that bolt hole, and tighten it down. Now we know it's not going to come off there. Then we're going to place our drum mount, because remember, this is also going to pull up and make this piece right here lock onto this drum mount. We're going to get that, put that in place, and I think we're right about there. I like these, they're convenient. The only problem I have with these, and sometimes I have to go with a fancier one on depending on how I'm going to mount the drum, is because this wing nut is right in the middle. But in an instance like this, it's actually good, because when we take the drum and we bring the drum up here, see, if we go like this, we're going to have a conflict with this wing nut and this wing nut. But if we bring it in and we slide it to the side, now this piece is behind that wing nut, sitting here good, and we can adjust this drum right here. Bring it out a little bit, stuck on the edge. There we go. There we go. We got it going on now. So now we got that in there mounted really nice. Looks good. I'm looking back at it. This is tight. Then we make sure that our cable comes up here and we plug it in to the match hole here. There, where it goes. There it is right there. All right. So there we go. We just replaced this bracket. It's tight. This is tight. And it looks good. Looks right in the middle. We're looking down at my drum set. Looks good. Now we have this all tightened up. We tied that tight. We have this tight. And the drum looks perfect right down the middle of the drum set. And I actually use this as a gong. So if I'm playing drums and want to hit a gong, that's the gong right there. And it looks great. And it's real solid too. This bracket here, when I tighten it up, it's really in place. I'm moving the whole set. This thing isn't moving. Great job. Good deal. We replaced that. So you can see, if we didn't have the ability to take those clamps off that beam, we would have had to pull this beam completely out, which meant taking the light brackets off, loosening these up, sliding that off. We would have had to take this whole top beam off and apart so we could slide that new one on. But being we were able to take the older clamp off and put the newer clamp on, we saved a lot of work that way, which is great. And as you can see, I have a bracket here for the one cymbal, and I have another bracket here for the other tom, using those same brackets. They come apart, slide around the post, and then you can put them together. Really great hardware. Now the brackets I like using are right here. These guys are slick. Now they're on the expensive side, but they're great. And they work on the same principle. You take this washer, bring it up, slide that lock nut over that way, the wing nut, and then these things slide open. Then what you do is you slide this over your beam, lock it down, bring this up with the washer, and then you lock it in place. These are really great. What's also great about this is that when you can lock this piece on, when you lock this piece right here onto the beam, you can tighten this down, and then it has a separate, on the back side, has a separate wing nut right here for the actual drum mount. So when you want to adjust the drum mount, you can adjust the drum mount without moving the actual position of this piece on your beam. These are really great. They're a little bit on the expensive side, but they're also cool little mounting devices for your electric drum set. Okay, I'm now going to show you how I clean the drums. Now, I'm not going to do the whole drum set because it would take too long, but I just want to show you my process. We'll go in this little area here. So first, I take my Swiffer 360 and I go around and clean everything. Again, because this 360 has this narrow a handle, you can get in between things. I can get in between over here and in between all the stuff, all the hardware. I can go down in here and dust all that and get in between everything. And you can get on top of the drums and in between all the parts in between, get all my beams inside, and you can dust this up pretty good. And it works really well. Okay, now I'm going to take my Black Magic tire wet foam, and I'm going to clean the rubber part of this cymbal right here. Again, if you're going to try this, try it with a small area. I'm not recommending you do this, but for me, I've been doing this for years and it seems to work. So we'll open up the lid, we'll spray a little bit on the rag, and we'll wipe it in on that rubber part of that cymbal. And we'll work it in. And I used a white rag because I wanted to show you, you can see the blackness of the rubber coming off. And put a little more on there. And usually I haven't done this for a while, so it would take a little while. Now I put it on the plastic part too. It looks good there also. But we can also come back and run the natural shine on there. But it actually has kept these cymbals working really nice. And they start to look there. You're still going to see a light part of where you've been hitting the cymbal a lot. But it really brings them back. Do it one more time. Third time's the charm. Put it on there and away we go. Now, I don't know if it'll work as good on the plastic part, but I know it's good for rubber because that's what it does. It's a protective element or protective thing for car tires. So I just did this cymbal. This will be the second time I did this. And got it cleaned up looking good. And let's do it one more time. And I'll make it 3 times that we did this cymbal here. Little tire foam on it. Stick it on there. Get it going. Go the whole way around. Get it looking good. And there you go. Now we did this 3 times. And you can already see a difference. The camera really isn't showing it because of the lighting in here. But you can really see the difference between this cymbal and this cymbal. This cymbal's got a nice shine to it. Looks really good. Matter of fact, I go down there on that first one. But what I found out also is using this tire foam, what has happened is it seems like it'll be real shiny for a couple of minutes and then it gets dull again. So I do it a couple of times and then after about the 3rd time, it looks good. Let's see what happens when we do this other cymbal up on top so I can show you how this stuff works. So we'll go to that and we'll stick this on here and bring that up right into that. We'll bring it over there. Go around, work it in. Already you can see the difference. Big difference. But then again, I can see it lighting in this area. It's getting light again, like it's dry. Let's do it again. Another wob. Get it on there really good. And yeah, it looks good. All right. And now you can see, camera doesn't show that, but you can see there's a big difference in the way it looked before. Again, I'm now seeing an area right in here start to dry up right in here where I hit it. And that's because the rubber is probably getting old in that area. Because this area right in here on these drums, this area right in here is rubber. And that's what we're trying to protect because we're always hitting that rubber part. And you can see it really changed that cymbal. I'm going to give it one more shot. Right in that area there. These cymbals are probably at least 20 years old. I know somewhere in that neighborhood, somewhere in, well, maybe not, yeah. I think it was 03 when I bought my first TD3, and I think these were the original cymbals. So, you know, it's been going good so far. And that's how we take care of the cymbals. So for cleaning some of my hardware, I use this stuff right here, the Natural Shine. I spray it on the rag a little bit. come over here and wipe it down. You can wipe your hardware down. And it really has a nice shine, brings a nice shine to everything. And get in there. We can actually go around these brackets and the mounts. And it really, it's another car product that you need to experiment with. I'm not recommending it, but it works great for me. And if it's good for car plastics that, are experiencing UV rays of being outside, I think we're going to have good protection here in the studio. And there you go. I also use the tire foam for the drums. Around this area right here is rubber, and we want to protect it. So we take a little bit, spray on a rag. Now what we have to do is, because we really don't want to get it all over everything, is I take and I mat it together so it's wet, and then I just go around the outside of the drum. And now we got a protective element over that rubber in the drums. And then I go over each drum. Each drum I'll go around and do the same thing. That way we protect the rubber on the drums. Now there's one thing you need to have to keep your Roland drum set going, and that's this thing right here. And what that is an accumulation of Roland drum hardware. Now what's really cool is a lot of times people will sell their drums, but they keep the hardware, or they'll sell the hardware and they buy new drums or whatever. And I can go on Reverb and buy a lot of hardware for practically nothing. And all these little adjustments, all these little wing nuts and nuts and bolts and adapters and everything come in handy when you're keeping your drum set going. And then down below, I have all my brackets. I have some more mounts. Matter of fact, I think I bought a guy sold all his drum pads and had a whole drum set of all these brackets for like $150. So I have all the different brackets down here. I even got some extra kick drum mallets and different hardware that you could accumulate to keep your Roland drum set going. Even brackets like this that are hard to find that go onto your beams and keep your whole drum set going on. So this is one good thing you need to have if you're keeping your Roland drum set going. And for me in the studio, I've had it going for years, and it's always come in handy when I need something, when I have to have something broke, or one of these little bolts breaks or snaps, and you need another one. You reach in your toolbox and you keep on jamming. So I hope this video showed you that you can fix and repair these things yourself. That way you don't have to have someone else come in and do it. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. You'll help us grow the channel. That way we can fix more stuff. So take care, my friends, and thanks for watching.